morning, dear students. Today we are going to start the next chapter, that is nucleus. Nucleus, what is nucleus? And elementary concepts about the nucleus you have learned in your prior classes. So in this chapter we are going to see more things about the nucleus, what is its significance, everything. It is the largest cell organelle that is present in a cell, and also it is a feature of eukaryotic cell. We discriminate a eukaryotic cell from the prokaryotic cell with the presence of this nucleus. And what is the main significance of this nucleus? Main significance is that it's the site where the genetic information is stored. That is the very significant underlined importance of that nucleus. Next, we are going to see organization of interphase nucleus. Interphase nucleus. What do you mean by interphase? Have you heard about this term ever before? Interphase means what? Interphase. Phase means a stage, a period. Inter means between. Between what? Between cell divisions. So interphase is a stage or a phase prior to cell division. In other words, we can tell it as a preparatory phase to undergo division. During that phase, the nucleus synthesizes so many proteins, enzymes, and other things that are all essential for that cell to undergo a division. That is interphase. Okay. Next is about its shape of the nucleus. What about its shape? In most common cases, most common cell, the shape of the nucleus is round or oval. But in some cells, the shape of that nucleus can vary. Where all that shape vary? In the case of paramecium. In the paramecium, the nucleus is kidney shaped. And also in certain insects, it's spinning gland cells. In those cells, the nucleus is branched one. That are exceptions. And also in human beings, in WBC granular WBCs are there, and granular WBCs are there. And in all those one, we distinguish each type of WBC from each other mainly because of the number of lobes present in the nucleus. That means the shape is different from one WBC to other. So we need to understand that even if we are understanding the shape of nucleus as round or circular, exceptions are there. Okay. Then coming to the size. Size also can vary, and that depends upon the amount of cytoplasm in the cell. The amount of cytoplasm is more in a cell, that means the nucleus need to shrink its size to accommodate in that cell. And also if the content of chromosome or DNA, if it is more, then the size of the nucleus will be big to accommodate all those things. So depending upon the conditions, the size may vary. In those cells which are 3N, 3N means triploid. What about our cells? It is diploid. Diploid means what? I think you know that. What is diploid? Diploid means two sets. If we take the case of first chromosome, how many sets means we are telling it as one pair, like one pair. So that's what it is 2n. Then 3n means what? Three sets are not sets. Three numbers will be there regarding the number of the chromosome. That is 3n. So in those cells which are having 3n and 4n, then the size of the nucleus will be big. And in mammalian nuclei, normally we are talking the average diameter of nucleus is 6 micrometer. Average, on an average scale, we can tell that the diameter of nucleus is 6 micrometer, and we need to not keep it in mind this value. Need to by heart this value 6 micrometer. 6 micrometer is the diameter, average diameter of the nuclei. Next we are going to see number. Regarding the number, typically there will be one nucleus in almost all cells, and also there are certain cells that are not having any nucleus. Example, mature RBC, that we need to notice that term. Mature, in immature RBC there is a nucleus, but as the RBC get mature, it is devoid of a nucleus. So that we need to mention that. Then multinucleated cells also there. There are certain cells, they have more than one nucleus. Example for such cells are syncytial osteoclast cells. Osteoclast means what? I'll tell you. Osteoclasts are certain specialized cell. These cells, what they are doing, they dissolves the bone. They absorbs and removes the bone. For what? For the development of new bone. Such cells are called osteoclast cells. In those cells, in those cells, in this type of cells, it is multinucleated. Osteoclast cells are multinucleated, and also in the case of striated skeletal muscle. Striated skeletal muscle also multinucleate. Then coming to next head, that is contents of interphase cell. What are the contents? Main contents. We know that an interphase cell contains chromosomes, nucleoli, and nucleoplasm. Okay. Regarding each one, we will learn separately as we go through this chapter. Next, functions of nucleus. Compartmentalization. Compartmentalization means there is a demarcation of separate areas like nuclear region and cytoplasmic region. What is the significance of that compartmentalization? Because of that separation, a cell can regulate many biological processes. For example, transcription, translation. They are very important process that is happening inside the cell, and these two steps means transcription and translation. They are taking place specifically in different compartments. Transcription is happening inside the nucleus and translation is happening outside the nucleus, and this separation is very important for the regulation of this process. Okay, so in that sense, compartmentalization is very important. So nucleus facilitate that compartmentalization. Then site of storing the genetic information. We know that it's clear that a nucleus is the site of storing genetic information. And also it is a center that coordinates various activities of the cell. That is another important function. And is a site of DNA transcription. What is written in the DNA, it is copying to an mRNA that happens inside the nucleus. That process is called a transcription. And also the nucleus is the site for the transmission of genetic information, and also it regulate the protein synthesis in its initial phase, and it helps to assemble ribosome. That assembly mainly happens inside the nucleoli that present inside the nucleus. Okay, that's about the important functions of nucleus. And then coming to nuclear envelope. Envelope means something that is covering something. Okay, similar to that, nuclear envelope means is an envelope that is covering the nucleus. It is two membranous envelope, and it is the boundary between nucleus and cytoplasm. What is the significance of this nuclear envelope? What is the significance? It is the structural framework. First one, what is the importance? It is the structural framework. It is the structural framework for nucleus. First significance is that one. And what is the second one? Second is it protects the fragile DNA. That envelope protects. It gives protection. Protect fragile DNA. If that envelope is not there, there is chance for the DNA to be fall loose in the cytoplasm, and there is chance for getting break. So it protects the fragile DNA. That is second significance. And the third, it acts as a barrier between nucleus and cytoplasm. What is the fourth significance? Fourth significance, it prevents that translation of mRNA before the completion of transcription. That we can write like prevent premature mRNA translation. Because transcription happens inside the nucleus. After transcription, mRNA is forming, and then that mRNA is transporting from the nucleus to cytoplasm. After it reaches the cytoplasm, then only the translation is happening. So, since that envelope is there, that is why that mRNA is transporting to cytoplasm, outside to the cytoplasm. By that way, it helps or it prevent the premature translation of mRNA. These are the important significance. Okay. Then coming to membranes, I told that it's a two membranous structure, that envelope. Inner membrane is there and outer membrane. In this picture, we can see that this is the outer membrane and it's the inner membrane. Okay. And between that membrane, there is a space also there, and that space is called perinuclear space. It is mentioned here, perinuclear space. Okay, and both these membrane, outer and inner, both these membrane have their own distinct protein composition. Okay, then if we take the case of outer membrane, that outer membrane is continuous with endoplasmic reticulum. Regarding the endoplasmic reticulum, we already have learned in the former classes. And in the just finished last class, we have learned about endoplasmic reticulum. So, it is continuous. Outer membrane is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. How is it possible? I will just draw and show you. Suppose this is the outer membrane of nucleus, and from here the endoplasmic reticulum. So in that way. So this is endoplasmic reticulum. This nucleus, and this is the envelope, this is the outer membrane. It is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. And coming to the inner membrane, before that, I already told you that there is a space between these two membranes. Its name is perinuclear space. And that space, this space here, this space also continues with the lumen of endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and also one more feature is here that the outer surface of this outer membrane is bounded by so many ribosomes on its surface. That is another feature of this outer membrane. Okay, then coming to supporting networks. Supporting networks means even if that membrane is there, it should keep intact in its own shape. So there should be some supporting structure. Similar to, if we take the case of an umbrella, there will be some skeletal structure, or we take the case of our body, there is a skeleton to give perfect shape. Okay, similar to that, here also some supporting networks are there, and these networks are mainly of intermediate filaments, and that intermediate filaments are of two types. Okay, first one is called, I will write here. First one is called nuclear lamina. Nuclear lamina, it is a thin sheet of specific protein. It is a thin sheet of specific protein, and where it is seen towards the inner side of the envelope. Towards the inner side of the nuclear envelope. And second intermediate filament that form the part of that nuclear envelope is, uh, there is no specific name for that, but the only thing that it is mentioned like it surrounds the outer membrane. It surrounds the outer membrane. No, even if there is no specific name, we need to understand that also is another type of intermediate filament. Two types. The one that's in inner side is called nuclear lamina. Okay, that's about the supporting networks. Then regarding the nature of that composition of that layer, similar to the composition and form of plasma membrane, here also each membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane, is a phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid bilayer, fluid mosaic model, what its form, its organization, regarding that we have learned in detail in former classes. I just to here for your remembrance is a lipid, phospholipid bilayer. In between, proteins are floating like mosaics, and to this also carbohydrates attached, to lipids also carbohydrate attached. In between, here and there, cholesterols also present. This is the general arrangement of phospholipid bilayer. And in the case of this nuclear envelope also, the organization is phospholipid bilayer. Okay. Next, nuclear lamina. We are going to understand more about that. Nuclear lamina means the intermediate filament that's seen in inner side of the nuclear envelope. Okay. Then what is its composition? Before that, what is the thickness of that nuclear lamina? Its thickness is 30 80 nanometer. That's about the thickness. Here, this picture in blue color, we can see the lamina. And what is nuclear lamins? Nuclear lamins are certain proteins that form this lamina, nuclear lamina. That means it is the building block of nuclear lamina. There's some type of proteins. Now, what is the function of this nuclear lamina or lamins? What is the function? We till here we just understand, just only understand that it is the intermediate filament giving support for the envelope seen inside the envelope. Then one more important function for that, the lamins or lamina. It is a site for the chromatin to attach. It gives a space for the attachment of the chromatin, and also it gives shape to the nucleus. That is the function. Okay, with this we can finish today's class and section, and in the next class we can learn about the nuclear pore complex. Okay, thank you.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the Benz.